FM 88.1 WHPR, Highland Park.
Kareem Bean Pie is the grand champion of all bean pies. The rich flavor and smooth texture takes this pie to a whole new level of delicious. One bite and you'll understand why people all over the country call daily to order Kareem Bean Pie. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie.
This bean pie is delicious.
Muhammad Speaks presents Messenger Elijah Muhammad's Teachings by Minister Khalil Shabazz every Sunday from 2 to 3 p.m. at Muhammad's Temple of Islam, 12609 East McNichols Road in Detroit.
I'd like to say in the name of Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, and in the name of his last and greatest messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, I'd like to greet the brothers and sisters with the Nation of Islam's greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. Today we want to talk about the June 13th, 1969 Muhammad Speaks, and it's called America is Falling. But since today is what the Christians call Resurrection Sunday, we're going to start with what the Muslims believe. And we're going to talk about the real resurrection instead of talking about the spooky resurrection. The messenger says in what the Muslims believe, number 5, it says, we believe in the resurrection of the dead, not in physical resurrection, but in mental resurrection. We believe that the so-called Negroes are most in need of mental resurrection. Therefore, they will be resurrected first. Furthermore, we believe we are the people of God's choice, as it has been written that God would choose the rejected and the despised. We can find no other persons fitting this description in these last days more than the so-called Negroes in America. We believe in the resurrection of the righteous. So we don't believe in no spooky resurrection like they do in the church. And we're going to give examples of what a mental resurrection is, so people can see what a resurrection really means. So we're going to start with the article from Sister Marjorie Hassan, and it's called Muhammad Speaks the Language of Allah, God. She says, continual praise are forever due to Allah, God, Master Farad Muhammad, for giving us Islam and our divine guide, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's right. And that's one of the things that I like about Sister Marjorie Hassan's articles. Because she always say Master Farad Muhammad's name. Yeah. She don't never just say Allah. Because we living in the resurrection. That's right. And the black man needs to know who his God is. Not just saying Allah. Right. Not just saying God. That's right. They need to know who their God is, because we always knew about God. People done said Allah before, but we never knew God's name. That's right. He has a personal name. That's right. A name that's only his name. Yes, that signifies him as our God. Right. All praise due to Allah. Yes, Master Farad Muhammad. That's right. She says, the Bible, 1 Corinthians 13 and 10 and 11. It says, but when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. She says, truly that which is perfect, Allah God, his religion Islam, and his messenger Muhammad is come. She's saying that which is perfect. See, this that old school talk. Mm-hmm. That which is perfect. We saying that Master Farad Muhammad is perfect. That's right. Messenger perfect, and what they taught us is perfect. Islam is perfect. That's right. They don't need no help. That's old school talk. It don't need no help. It don't need nobody to sit up there and say the messenger's teachers need help. And that's the difference between how we talk and how Muslims used to talk when the messenger was alive. The messenger was perfect. We don't want to hear nothing about nothing else. What he gave us was good enough. It was perfect. All praise is due to Allah. Our God is perfect. That's right. What the messenger said is perfect. That's why when Malcolm sitting up there talking this talk he talked, the messenger was perfect, brother. Yes, I don't want to hear nothing you got to say about nothing else. That's right. He was perfect. That's right. Our God perfect. Right. Islam is perfect. Yes, so She says, that which is in part Christianity and other than Islam, its false God, the civilization and rule of the white man, and its false prophets, the preachers of Christianity, are daily being put forth further and further away. She says, that which is in part. Then she naming that which is in part. She says Christianity and other than Islam. So Christianity and everything else. That's what that means. So that mean the Black Panthers. That mean Pan-Africanism. That mean the Christians, the revolutionaries, everything that ain't what the messenger taught. That's everything else. That's right. And all praise to Allah. And that's the difference that you see when you read these old school Muslim papers and articles. They used to keep it real. That's right. It's either all or nothing. That's right. Either Master Farad Muhammad was God, he perfect, yes, the messenger perfect, Islam perfect, and it ain't nothing else. That's right. That's how Muslims should be now. That's right. It ain't nothing else. We don't care nothing about what nobody else is talking about. Because people still talking this Sabi talk. And it's hard to fathom how a Muslim can see all that the messenger built. And this brother who used to be a Muslim, he ain't had no farms, no restaurants, no nothing, no program. Brother ain't had nothing. Brother ain't even had no building to speak in. Brother renting buildings. But he talking some talk about how to eat to live. And that impress you. When you become a Muslim, who have you listened to or heard that impressed you after you became a Muslim? Just keep it real. Who? Who you done read? Now, I read other people, because the messenger said people showing signs. Some are people showing signs that they got some wisdom. They showing signs. So I read them, but I don't read them to try to gain no more knowledge. I read them, hey, he's showing signs. But I don't read people trying to give them some props like I do the messenger. Because what he gave us was perfect. That's right. Islam is perfect. That's right. I ain't looking for nothing else. And you can tell a Muslim. Because if you like Sabi, then you looking for something else. What the messenger gave you ain't good enough for you. So now you hearing this talk, Sabi talk, like, oh, he got something to say too. But when you feel like what the messenger taught was perfect, I don't need nothing else. That's right. I don't need to look nowhere else for nothing. How to eat to live is good for me. Right. So she says, Messenger Muhammad teaches us that Allah God will use the forces of nature to bring America down to ruin and almost complete desolation. This past week, we all have witnessed rain, storms, snow, and severe unseasonable weather. We still see that now. That's right. Still can see it. That's right. And the messenger is the one who told us that Allah is going to use the forces of nature. That's right. Nobody else taught us that. That's right. And the beautiful thing about history and the white man keeps good records. You do. He keeps good records. Yeah. Old newspapers and old articles of what people were saying back then, right, you can compare it to what people were saying now. That's lost, found, and Muslims. You can start documenting when people start copying the teachings of the messenger. That's right. Because before the messenger, nobody gave pride in the black man. That's right. As far as being God's chosen people. That's right. They gave credit to a religion. Like I might be a Jew, and because I'm a Jew, I'm God's chosen people. Not because I'm black. That's the big difference between the messenger and other people. They associated your chosenness or your favor with God with what religion you practice. They wasn't talking about you was chosen because you was black. That's what the messenger said. Right. But since after the messenger, and black people start seeing how receptive black people was to the teachings of the messenger, then they start changing their religion, start talking about black people original. Wasn't saying that. Black people is chosen. We God's people. Wasn't nobody saying that. That's right. Before the messenger. That's right. And these is the facts. And if you look at the documented history that the white man has in his newspapers, you can look at what people used to say. And you can compare it to what people start saying after they start copying the messenger's teachings. The messenger says, or Sister Marjorie Hassan says, it is time that the black man and woman of America should stop, look, and listen to Messenger Muhammad and grow up so that we can rise and take our place on top of civilization. She says, we the Muslims, your black brothers and sisters, are becoming and have become men and women under the magnifying teachings of Messenger Muhammad, the giant among men.
That's right.
That's what people used to call the messenger. He a giant among men.
That's right.
He ain't like these other leaders. He a giant among men. Even just listen to how people used to talk about the messenger is different than how we talk about him now. We talk about other people like Muslims used to talk about the messenger. He a giant among men.
Yes, sir.
And we, under his teachings, she says, we the Muslims, your brothers and sisters, are becoming and have become men and women under the magnifying teachings of the messenger. We become that under his teachings. We ain't just that because we black.
Right.
We have become that under his teachings.
Right.
But he the giant among men.
That's right.
That's how Muslims talk.
That's right. Yes.
Then she says, Messenger Muhammad has taught us to speak the language of a nation. For we are a nation, the nation of Islam. We are 22 million strong, and with the help of Allah God, we will unite and stand up like a man behind Messenger Muhammad. This different too. She said we 22 million strong. That means even the black people ain't even accepted it yet. You a Muslim, but you just don't know it.
That's right.
So that's letting you know we ain't really paying no attention to all this other stuff you talking about. Because you a Muslim.
Right.
You just think you a Pan-African.
That's right.
You think you a revolutionary.
That's right.
But you really a Muslim.
That's right.
All praise due to Allah. They didn't never talk like we just another group or another religion. No, you a Muslim too.
Right.
So we trying to have you come on home. That's what we trying to do.
right.
We ain't trying to unite with you as a Panther.
Right.
We ain't trying to unite with you as a Christian.
Yes, sir.
We ain't trying to unite with you as a Hebrew or Moor, none of that.
Right.
We trying to get you to come home.
That's right.
That's how Muslims talk.
That's right.
That's how the messenger taught Muslims to talk.
Yes,
Because
sir.
Sister Marjorie Hassan talked like a Muslim because that's how the messenger taught her to talk.
That's right.
Like a Muslim.
That's right.
It says, everywhere, and this part right here is my favorite part of this whole article. She says, everywhere we hear little words being spoken, and as one of our blind, deaf, and dumb black sisters said on television the other night, you sound like you have been reading a page of Muhammad Speaks newspaper. She says, yes, even those who try to hold back the rise of the black man of America know the sound of the language which Muhammad speaks. All praise to Allah. She said, we hear little words being spoken by our deaf, dumb, and blind black sister. She ain't act like she knew what she was talking about. She said by our blind, deaf, and dumb sister who was on TV yesterday.
Right.
They don't talk like how we talk. We'd have been acting like she know what she talking about.
Right. Yes, sir.
She said and this sister who she talking about was telling another person it sound like you been reading Muhammad Speaks.
Right.
Giving the messenger props. But you still deaf, dumb, and blind too.
That's right.
The Muslims.
Right.
You wasn't showing signs until you was in the temple. Then you showing signs. But when you outside of the temple, you have learned.
Yes,
That's
right.
what you is.
That's right.
You don't know nothing.
That's right.
The messenger is the giant among men.
That's right.
That's how Muslims talk. And this is the resurrection. Black people should know that. Black people should know if you're not in Muhammad's temple, brother, you have learned. That's how they should know we feel. All these people talking, no, he half learned. He's showing signs. He talking some good talk, but he have learned. Why he ain't accepting the messenger?
That's right.
That's what you was asking. If he know what he talking about and all that the messenger bid, why you ain't accepting him? He had farmland.
Right.
He had schools. He had businesses.
Right.
He was cleaning black people up. If you know what you talking about, why you ain't following him?
Right.
That's how a Muslim feel.
That's
If
right.
you knew what you was talking about, you would be with us.
That's right.
You would be FOI if you a brother, and you would be an MGT if you a sister. That's how Muslims talk.
Yeah.
And that was Sister Marjorie Hassan.
Yes, sir.
And we want to talk and go further and give our people an example of being mentally deaf, dumb, and blind. Because we are in need of a mental resurrection, not no
That's right.
physical resurrection.
That's right.
And they used to have cartoons in the Muhammad Speaks showing our condition. This is a picture of a brother in the grave. And this is a picture of a cross that says mental slavery. Then you see a picture of a white man hand pouring bones in and giving him crumbs. Then you got a picture of the messenger reaching down and grabbing the brother. And it says knowledge of Allah, knowledge of self, will to do for self, money, good homes, friendships in all walks of life, Islam. That's what it was.
Yeah.
The messenger reaching in the grave and pulling you out the grave.
That's right.
All praise due to Allah.
That's right. That's right.
That's the resurrection.
That's right.
The messenger
That's
reaching down in the grave and grabbing you and me. That's what the resurrection is. It ain't no dead person rising from no grave.
That's right.
The mental resurrection is the messenger's teachings reaching down in the grave, getting you and me and pulling us up. That's what the resurrection is. All praise is due to Allah. Then you got another picture that was always in the Muhammad Speaks. And this was a picture of a brother who was sitting on a park bench and he was raggedy. His suit got holes in it, he's smoking. Then the messenger behind him telling him to get up. Then you can see him getting up. And when he stands up inside of his briefcase, it says self-help. That's resurrection.
Right.
All praise due to Allah. The sky.
Right.
Self-help. The messenger's teaching, pulling you out the grave. That's what the resurrection is.
Yes, sir.
So we want to give an example of, during the time of the messenger, how the messenger's teachings mentally resurrected black people. Mentally. And we want to go back to talking about this soul food thing. Because when we was talking about the white woman who wrote the book, she was talking about the history. We want to go back to the history and really see what black people were saying about this soul food thing. This comes from the Oakland Tribune, Thursday, October 31st, 1968. And the title of this article is Berkeley High Put Soul Food on Menu. It says some 300 Berkeley High School students got a new cultural experience yesterday as the school cafeteria offered soul food for the first time. The soul food was placed on the menu as a result of a series of Black Student Union demands made to the Board of Education earlier this month. So they was actually going to, because they wasn't even serving them hard. They went to the Board of Education telling them we want some hard. That's mental death.
That's right.
All praise to Allah.
That's right.
The white man wasn't even feeding it to you.
Right.
But we so dead.
Right.
We go to him like, yo, man, we want some hog in the school. So it says black and white students down heaping plates of red kidney beans mixed with fluffy rice and salt pork, tossed salad, hot buttered cornbread, and apple wedge. Our soul food dishes such as fried chicken, chicken and dumplings, collard greens, green beans, gumbo, barbecue spare ribs, hot links, sweet potato pie, black-eyed peas, and canned yams will be offered periodically. So they just went all out for him, like, okay, since you want it, we're going to give you all the slop.
Right.
And they went all out for him,
Yeah.
because they went to him and asked him for it.
Yes, sir.
So it says, the food was prepared under the supervision of Lawrence Griffin, a black caterer who is now teaching soul food classes at Berkeley High.
Come on. Wow.
So not only is they going to the school board to tell them to start bringing the hog, now they teaching classes on soul food.
Heard that stuff. Yeah.
That's how mentally dead we was.
That's right.
That's how mentally dead we still are.
That's right. That's
Going to the devil, asking him to bring us the hog, the divinely prohibited flesh.
Right.
That's mental death.
That's right.
Mental death.
That's right. That's
All praise due to Allah.
right.
And mental death will take you to a physical grave.
That's right.
That's what mental death will do.
Yes.
But it ain't gonna bring you out of no grave.
That's right.
A mental death will take you to the grave. That's what we want to try to get across to you.
Right.
You can be mentally dead, and that mental death could take you to a physical grave. Then it says Griffin, 57, who learned his soul food cooking 45 years ago, worked closely with Miss Nola Knox, a black baker, and Miss Paula Perry, Caucasian head cook, in preparing for the debut soul food. It says black students eagerly queued up several minutes early for the event yesterday. They express jubilation at the idea of sharing something distinctly black with white students and attest to the quality of their soul food lunch in words and actions. Now, this is showing us what the messenger was up against. Because he was the one who was reaching in the graves, pulling us out of the grave.
That's right.
The messenger.
That's right.
It wasn't Sabi.
That's right.
It wasn't Dick Gregory. It wasn't none of it.
Right.
It was the messenger.
That's right.
Because black people had just finally taken hold of some of the messenger's teachings, like they was half learned.
Right.
They was proud of being black,
Right.
but they was half learned.
That's right.
They showing signs.
Yeah.
So now the messenger ain't pull you all the way out. What he say? He got one pants leg on?
Right.
He got one eye open? You half learned.
That's right.
So you half dead.
Right.
You still dead, but you half dead. All praises due to Allah. It's old school talk.
That's
You half dead, brother.
Right, right.
You don't know nothing until you in the temple.
That's right.
That's when we can say you showing signs.
Yeah.
Because you still ain't done yet.
Right.
Because you still got more work to do.
That's
You
right.
still got to work on yourself.
That's right.
You still can go back out.
That's right.
So you showing signs when you sitting down in the temple.
All right. Yes.
So it says one girl, Gail Taplin, 16 of 1047 Virginia Street, rated the salt pork and beans highly. In fact, she related, I'm fixing to go back for seconds. Her boyfriend Wayne Brown, 16 of 1619 Cornell Avenue, confided, however, that she has been known for her hefty appetite. I'm really looking forward to it because it's the first time in Berkeley High that we've shown the other nationalities here what black people eat, Wayne said proudly as he waited for his serving. Just like the Chinese, Italians have their dishes, chitlins, beans, greens, and neck bones are ours. The black people's special dishes. And that's a shame.
It is right.
To see how mentally dead we was.
That's right.
To see how we taking pride
Right.
in neck bones and collard greens. It's the messenger. Now if you a Muslim, because I'm going to keep talking about Satan.
Right. Yes,
You a
right.
Muslim.
Right.
You know what the messenger had to deal with.
Right.
How you talking about Satan? How you talking about Sabi and other Muslims still accepting you? Cause you go, look, brother, we don't want to hear nothing about no Sabi. If
Right.
you in our Muslim circle
Right.
and you talking about Sabi, talking about he got something to say, it's like, look, brother, what about the messenger?
Right.
If you talking about Sabi and you like him, what about the messenger?
That's right.
Because a lot of these people come when the cake already made.
That's right.
Now you want a slice.
Right.
But when it's time to make the cake, where you at?
That's right.
When it's time to buy the ingredients, where you at?
Right.
When it's time to do the hard labor to put them ingredients together and make this cake taste good so people will want the cake.
Right.
Because that's the teachers of the messenger, he had to teach it so the people will want it.
That's right.
These teachers alone didn't just get you, he had to teach it because he said that it's hard to get the teachings to you. That's a job.
That's right.
But the other job is to get you to accept it after he get it to you. That's the messenger. He had to do all that. All that he had to work with the mentally dead black man. And now you giving credit to Satan. Now you giving credit to Dick Gregory. What Muslim gonna accept that? That's why you can tell a Muslim. Muslim ain't gonna accept everything. I don't want to hear that.
That's right.
If you a Muslim. I don't want you to tell me you a Muslim and then you telling me about somebody else. Then I'm questioning. He's showing signs of something else.
Right.
That's what he's showing signs of. What you mean? The messenger, what he gave us was perfect.
That's right.
What you talking about Sabi for?
That's right.
So, it goes on to say, I want everybody to eat the same food I do at home. Roy Phelps, 16 of 717 Euclid Avenue, declared enthusiastically, we've been eating their Caucasian food for a long time. And now we want to show them we have a heritage too. And it's another thing. White man looking at you and laughing.
That's right.
A lot of times when I was first coming into the nation and you would read what a messenger say, the white man look at you and laugh. Time I'm like, what do you keep saying that for? Looking at us and laughing. Like for what? But when you really start looking like that,
Right. Right.
you look at you and laugh.
That's right.
Because they sitting with you looking at you like these. Because they know the good foods to eat. They know right from wrong. Way better than we do.
Yeah.
And they looking at us like we wasn't even giving them no hog. Not only do they want the hog, they proud of the hog, and they think they teaching us something about the hog.
Right.
We made you eat it.
Right.
All praise to Allah. We ain't make you eat it because it was good.
Right.
We made you eat it because we was trying to kill you. But now you so dead that you coming back to us asking us to give you the hog.
Right.
That's a mental death.
That's right.
That's a mental death.
That's right.
That's somebody that need to be resurrected.
That's right.
That ain't got nothing to do with no physical death.
Right.
That's why you walking around, eating and talking and having fun and thinking you wise. But you really a fool.
Right.
So it says, this food is out of sight, said Melvin Buckley, 17 of 2023 Woodley Street. It's as good or better than the soul food I get at home. They should have it more. Griffin related that soul food was originated on the plantations during slavery days. The slaves sang and prayed to endure hardship, and everybody put soul into everything they did, even cooking, he explained. Blacks consider themselves soul people, Wayne Brown pointed out. Whites don't have soul. Maybe not, but soul food seems to prove a hit with Caucasian students too. Now this the black man. He's sincere. He really in his heart, like now we got something to show him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? These devils ain't got no soul.
Right.
It's about the black man.
Right.
They half dead. You can see they sincere though.
Yeah.
If all we got is this hog, this our hog. They showing signs. They showing signs. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be a good Muslim one day. But you half dead. You half dead. It says, maybe not, but soul food seems to prove a hit with Caucasians too. Now this showing how the devil making a fool of the black man.
Uh-huh.
It's a hit with them.
Uh-huh.
You know, they like, oh, y'all got good food too.
Yeah.
It's like they liked it. They felt they had learned something about black living and were generally happy that black students had acquired something with which they could identify. So now that's how the devil play, even with this voting. They act like they so happy now you can vote, but they know your vote don't mean nothing.
That's right.
Now we so happy y'all can show us about y'all ribs and chitlins, make you feel happy, and now you really proud to show them. But they laughing at you.
That's
Like
right.
the messenger said, you mentally dead.
That's right.
Mentally dead.
That's right.
But he is the one. His teachers raised us up out of the grave.
That's right.
That's a mental resurrection.
That's right.
So we can go on even further. Because there was a brother named L.J. Banks. And he wrote some good, or he did like a 5-part series in the Indianapolis News in December of 1968 about soul food. He did like 5 parts talking about soul food in and out. This is the second part. It says soul food, another sign of black pride. It says, from the hard times of slavery, soul food has survived as a necessity as well as a folk tradition. It is a necessity because it is nutritious and at the same time inexpensive enough to harmonize with the black man's pocketbook. So they not saying Negro no more. They saying the black man.
Right.
Because it was a pride thing. And they think it's nutritious.
Right.
So it says, and it is tradition because many blacks, although living affluently and able to buy caviar and steak, still relish those home-cooked dishes from down home. That's showing the mental death.
Right.
You can choose now.
Right.
The devil ain't forcing you to eat this hog.
That's right.
You can have the best of foods,
That's
caviar and steak, but you would rather them chitlins. That's showing the mental death.
That's right.
So it says there are many blacks, however, who because of religion, then in parentheses it says black Muslims, or would not be caught eating a chitlin or a turnip green. It says, but for the black masses, most are devoted to the food of their heritage. So it's still talking about the Muslims. Because the Muslims was the only roadblock to all this soul food talk. It wasn't nobody else. It wasn't no Sabi. It wasn't no Dick Gregory or none of them. Because Dick Gregory, and the reason why we can talk about Dick Gregory so much is because he was actually in the Muhammad Speaks newspaper. This brother, now you got a YouTube right now, a Dick Gregory. This says, Dick Gregory, this is what he talking about. I am God, you are God. Power and fasting. Dick Gregory, same brother who was joking the Muslims about eating hard.
That's right.
Same brother. But most black people don't know history. So they'll look at Dick Gregory and be like, oh man, you know what he talking about. But here you got Dick Gregory right here. Muhammad Speaks newspaper. It says, Minister Samuel X of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's Gary, Indiana Mosque of Islam discusses the Messenger's program with black rights revolutionary Dick Gregory. Minister Samuel told Gregory that the only one who could bring justice to the 22 million oppressed black people of the United States was Allah God himself through his messenger, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's what Brother Samuel told. So when all of these people, what's good about the Muhammad Speaks too, is they got the documented history of all of these people when they start coming to the message.
That's right.
Because
That's right.
Dick Gregory started doing the civil rights thing. That's what he was doing.
Right.
And even they got a picture of him with John Ali still holding his cigarette. He trying to hold his little cigarette down to the side while they take the picture. You know how you used to do back when you back in the day. You try to, you don't want to throw it away, so you hold it to the side because you gonna start hitting it after the picture. That's how he looked.
Right.
But now he talking about the power of fasting and I am God. Where you learn that from? Just the resurrection.
That's right.
Because the messenger also talked about. Let's go to the messenger. He talked about how black people will start exploiting the prophecy. Because the prophecy said that the black man gonna be resurrected. And there's a lot of black people who exploiting that prophecy. Using the teachings for their own personal gain. You exploiting the prophecy.
That's right.
Because the prophecy says that I will send you Elijah.
That's right.
Before that great and terrible day. It ain't say nothing about Sabi. It ain't say nothing about Dick Gregory or none of these people. The prophecy talk about the messenger.
Right.
But you exploiting the prophecy, trying to block the messenger and let the people see you.
Right.
The messenger says, and this in the Flag of Islam, page 44 and 45. The messenger says, once we get the knowledge of ourselves and others, the giver of the knowledge being God himself, his aim is doing so is to put us on top. Since he, the divine supreme being, is on top, he wants to put his servants on top. He will do this for every one of us who believes and will choose him for our God as he has chosen us to be his people. God want to put you on top.
That's right.
He got a process of how he gonna put you on top.
Right.
He got a messenger that he taught what to teach us.
That's right.
That's how he want to put us on top. It's an order to the prophecy. It ain't like the teacher just gonna come on there, everybody just start grabbing at it and start trying to be on businessman and these self-made millionaires with the teachers. That ain't what it's about. It's about the resurrection.
That's right.
It's about the mentally dead.
Right.
And the only man who came or who has the teachings to raise the black man from a mental grave is the messenger.
That's right.
That's it. That's it.
Enjoying the show? Help keep us on the air. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033 to make a donation.
All of these organizations that are trying to exploit this prophecy and truth cannot be successful in again dividing themselves into groups under a group leader to try to bring about unity of the black people of the nation of the black nation. Here in America, united under one leader. They cannot do that. They must unite under a leader whom God himself made for them, as it is written.
Right.
As it is written. Just like how he said in what the Muslims believe. Point number 5. He says, furthermore, we believe we are the people of God's choice as it has been written.
Right.
He talking about prophecy.
That's right.
He not talking about he just using the teachings to make himself rich. He talking about fulfilling divine prophecy.
Right.
And he talking about how people is exploiting the prophecy. Because it's prophesied that we going to be resurrected.
That's right.
But it's a lot of people who going to be in the way.
Right.
Dick Gregory, one of them ones who was in the way. Dr. Sabi was one of them ones who was in the way.
Right.
All praises due to Allah. So we have back to the soul food, another sign of black pride. She says, but for the black masses, most are devoted to the food of their heritage. In the words of Miss Martha Bunch, come what may, the black man will never leave his soul food. Then they got a section of the article that's called "The Shame is Disappearing." It says Miss Bunch observed that more and more black customers are losing shame in eating soul food in the open. So black people kind of knew it's kind of shameful to eat these chitlins in the open. So I'm gonna just eat them at home.
Right.
They didn't have enough nerve to be serving no chitlins at no restaurant. Who gonna eat some chitlins in a restaurant in front of other people? But when the pride thing started happening, black people start feeling like this our heritage. Black people start losing that shame. Like, give me some of them black eyed peas and some of them chitlins in front of everybody.
Right.
Want to let the juice be dripping off your face when you eat. You ain't care.
Right.
You just wanted you to show everybody this our heritage.
Right.
So it says much of this she agrees is in line with the growing pride of black people. Soul food is romanticized by many black people in music, poetry, and literature. Willie Bobo and his combo sing their hit song Hog Mogs, Cornbread, and Chitlins. They hit song.
Right.
That's a hit between the black man because we got pride in it now.
Right.
Then it says, Leroy Jones praised it in literature. The white lady was talking about Leroy Jones, the poet.
Yeah.
He praising it too. Then it says Aretha Franklin begs in her song Soulville for someone to take me to Soulsville where she can get some good soul food. I'll make you limber, it'll make you quick, she says. So black people singing about it in their songs, they taking pride in it. This is what the Messenger was up against.
Right.
Because the Messenger was the only one who reaching the grave.
That's right.
It was his mission.
That's right.
So this how mentally dead black people was. The school children going to the school board trying to get the hog. Then the adults is making it popular through music and in the restaurants. This is the mental death of the black man.
That's right.
Then it says discoveries are being made linking popular dishes and cooking methods with Africa. Among the African and Afro-American food and cooking contributions are watermelons, okra, peanuts, deep fat fried, barbecue ribs and other meats, yams and sweet potatoes. All are authentic African imports. That's why the message used to talk about this Africa stuff. Everything coming out of Africa ain't good. The Messenger used to associate Africa with the jungle. That's how Muslims used to talk. That jungle life, that savage jungle life. So if it come from, we don't care nothing about what's coming out of Africa. We ain't Africans. We the Asiatic black man from the tribe of Shabazz. All praise due to Allah. So we ain't getting no pride just because them yams and hog mogs came out of Africa. We don't care nothing about that. We ain't Africans. That's how Muslims used to talk. Because the Messenger said you got to be strong enough to withstand people coming at you about your religion.
That's right.
You got to be strong enough.
That's right.
You can't be sympathizing with them acting like what's coming out of Africa just because it's African we should do it. No, that's the jungle. It was the jungle with the Messenger and it's the jungle with us. It's all praise due to Allah. It's uncivilized. All that African stuff. All that kente cloth and all that stuff is savage.
That's right.
That's what the Messenger said. So then, at the end of his series, it says, leader of black Muslims says reject Whitey's food. The Messenger.
Right.
It wasn't Dr. Sabi.
Right.
It wasn't Dick Gregory.
Right.
It wasn't none of them.
Right.
The Messenger.
That's it.
The only one who digging in our grave and reaching and getting us out.
That's right.
The Messenger.
Yes, that's right.
Only one.
That's right.
It wasn't none of these other people. Because this soul food is just one aspect of our mental grave. We got a whole host.
That's
We can
right.
talk about business. We can talk about living in slums.
Right.
We can talk about being dumb.
Right.
We can talk about religion. We can talk about everything. The Messenger the one.
That's right.
Reaching in the grave.
That's right.
Because
Sabi and them, the reason why you know they playing games is because everything Sabi and them got only leads you to Sabi. Sabi ain't got nothing to help the black man.
That's right.
If I buy all that sale food stuff he talking about, who getting rich?
Right.
Sabi getting rich.
Right.
Who I gotta direct them to get to this Sabi stuff? Sabi's website. Talking about Sabi.
Right.
But when you talking about the message, you talking about the Nation of Islam. All praise due to Allah. He putting money in your pocket.
That's right.
He making you rich and making you smart.
That's right.
Muhammad Ali. When he got the name Muhammad Ali, he became the most famous person in the world.
That's right.
They said that he is the only person in the world that you can say his name anywhere you go in the world, and they'll know exactly who you're talking about.
right.
Muhammad Ali.
That's right.
That's what the messenger did for him.
That's right.
They said that Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, and Louis Farrakhan, out of all of the Muslims that's in America, they said all the Muslims from all over the world come over here, and the only 3 Muslims in America that every Muslim know by name, every American know by name, is the 3 followers of the messenger.
That's right.
All praise due to Allah. That's what the messenger did. Sabi gonna do that for you? Who Sabi followers? Name one. Can't name one. But you can name followers of the messenger.
That's right.
You can even start talking about Captain Joseph now. Roscoe Muhammad, people know about them.
That's right.
And they was captains.
That's right.
It ain't just the ministers, it's everybody.
That's right.
All praise is due to Allah. And it says, leader of black Muslims says, reject whitey's food. It says, not only are these black people who will not eat traditional soul food dishes because of social economic standards, but because of religious standards as well. The black Muslims are an example. Their religious doctrine, as taught by Elijah Muhammad of Chicago, forbids them to eat the majority of foodstuffs popular in the diets of black Americans. Messenger Muhammad presents his dietary doctrines in his book, How to Eat to Live, which serves as biblical cookbook and menu for all black Muslims throughout the nation. Then it says in Indianapolis, the congregation of black Muslims whose mosque is at 2905 North Clifton follow these rules implicitly. They even have a restaurant, Shabazz, 422 East 23rd, which cooks its food according to Messenger Muhammad's direction. So they ain't just talking like Sabi now and Dick Gregory. They also got places where black people can come eat and experience this good food.
That's right.
They ain't just talking some talk
Right.
to get people to worship them. The messenger wasn't like that.
That's right.
He had a restaurant where black people can actually go somewhere and experience eating good food, good kosher food from black people with your people.
That's right.
You ain't got to go to these Arabs. You ain't got to go to the Jews.
Right.
You can come to the Muslims
That's right.
and get you some good foods from your brothers and sisters and get you a Muhammad Speaks newspaper and learn how to cook for yourself.
That's right.
All praise due to Allah. That's the messenger.
That's right.
Then it says, much of the arguments against certain foods is part of the black Muslims' revolt against anything coming from white people that is destructive. Messenger Muhammad teaches that pork, greens, grits, cornbread, and many other dishes were given to the Afro-Americans by white slave masters and not by Allah. Then it has a section that says food fit for mules. It says, according to Messenger Muhammad, such food is too rough on the delicate stomach. It is fit for mules, he said. Stay away from that pork, the messenger exhorted, and all those other forbidden foods. Americans usually eat for taste, but I am teaching you how to eat for life.
Right.
It's the messenger.
Right.
He the first one to start talking that.
Right.
Because everybody else was talking about how nutritious it is, how good it is for our heritage, and it comes from Africa. The messenger was the first ones that gave us a mental resurrection to start thinking about eating to live.
Right.
All praise due to Allah.
That's right.
Not eating to try to impress nobody.
Right.
Not eating to try to show you our heritage.
Right.
Not eating because I feel proud to be black.
Right.
But I'm eating to live.
That's right.
That's the message.
That's right.
And it says, Messenger Muhammad tells his followers that the forbidden food is too strong. It overworks their stomach, wears them out, and leaves them open for sickness and laziness. So he explained it to us about food. Sabi them ain't explaining nothing to you, nor is Dick Gregory.
Right.
All they want to do is self-exaltation. They want to, because the messenger said, Be on the lookout for that smart crooked deceiver.
That's right.
Not no dumb one.
That's right.
That smart crooked deceiver. Because they say that Sabi got a cure for AIDS. So what he got a cure for AIDS? You can live with AIDS now. The white man got pills that you can take where it won't even show up that you got AIDS. Who cares that he got a cure for AIDS? So what if he got a cure for AIDS? But if he do, all he is a smart crooked deceiver. What that's going to help the black man because you got a cure for AIDS? You got a hospital? You advocating for a hospital? Since you curing people, you ain't doing none of that.
Right.
He just using his wisdom in health. Because I don't know if that's true or not. But let's just say it is true. It still don't impress no Muslim. Talking about you curing people for AIDS. That don't, because AIDS mostly is by your lifestyle.
Right.
You was following the messenger, you wouldn't live the kind of lifestyle that AIDS people who get AIDS get. All praise to Allah. So you wasting your time trying to find a cure for AIDS.
Right.
That ain't nothing impressing no Muslim.
Right.
But even if he did, he's just a smart crooked deceiver.
Right.
That's all he is. He using his wisdom to try to block the messenger.
That's right.
That's all he doing.
That's right.
So we want to go and look at some of the restaurants that the messenger established all around the country and what other people was talking about. Not just the Muhammad Speaks. Because this restaurant was in Indianapolis. We're going to talk about a restaurant that was in Tennessee. And the article is called, it comes from the August 13th, 1973 Tennessean. And it's called No Chitlins or Cornbread. Shabazz food prepared in tradition of Muslims. It says you won't find a scrap of pork, a shred of cornbread, or a single sweet potato at Shabazz restaurant. It says Shabazz of Nashville, one of about 100 black Muslim restaurants in the United States. One of 100 black Muslims. The messenger ain't just talking.
Right.
The messenger ain't just trying to exalt himself.
Right.
He trying to resurrect the black man.
That's right.
So he got over 100 restaurants where black people can come and resurrect their mind and have some good food.
Right.
That's the message.
Right.
He says, Shabazz of Nashville, one of about 100 black Muslim restaurants in the United States, is a money maker for the religious sect, but its reasons for existence goes beyond that. He says Mr. Muhammad teaches the Muslims how to prepare food for themselves. So we necessarily need a restaurant, says Earl X. King, minister of Nashville's Muhammad's Temple of Islam. He says this restaurant is for the people of the community to acquaint them with the best foods. It is not basically for the Muslims because we know how to prepare our food, King says. It's for the people.
That's right.
All praise due to Allah. That's the difference between the messenger and all the rest of these people.
That's right.
What Sabi got for the people? A website that you can go and buy to sell food. What Dick Gregory got for the people? Nothing. It's all about him. But the messenger said these restaurants ain't for the Muslims. They already know how to cook their food.
Right.
It's to acquaint the people with knowing how to cook the proper foods.
That's right.
Then it says, according to the Muslim teaching, King said, pork is poisonous to the human system because it may harbor deadly trichina worms. There are certain foods that are edible but not fit for human consumption. Once again, that's the Muslims. We thought everything that was edible was good for human consumption. But the messenger letting us know everything that you can eat ain't good for you.
That's right.
We ain't know that before.
No.
Sabi them wasn't telling us that, or Dick Gregory.
Right.
It was the messenger.
That's right.
So it says black slaves in early America were traditionally fed less expensive and less nutritious foods. Hot chitlins, cornmeal, and sweet potatoes, King said. Although these foods were not good or good for people, King says, they became traditional staples of black person's diet, and cooks learned to cook them so that they taste better. That's what black people used to do. That's what our grandmothers and them used to do. Used to cook garbage to make it taste good.
Right.
For us, because we didn't have nothing. And after a time, you start taking pride, just like if you live in the hood. Start taking pride in that. And you start wanting to be as hood as you can be. You want to be as loud as you can be. You want to be as ghetto as you can be and let everybody know I'm from the hood.
Right.
You start getting proud of that. That's how it is with food. When you mentally dead.
That's right.
You be proud of this little stuff. Instead of trying to better yourself, you start being proud of it. But the message, all praise to Allah. But the messenger,
Right.
he was the first one I ever heard said you shouldn't be loud in public. I ain't never heard nobody say that. I used to be loud in public too. I used to love to be loud in public. I wasn't all savagely loud, but I used to like to be kind of loud. Let everybody know we in the building, as they say. I used to like to kind of be loud. But the messenger was the one to let you know that's uncivilized.
That's right.
But nobody telling us stuff like that. Because his how to eat to live went beyond just eating. It was a whole way of life.
That's right.
Sabi them not talking about no whole way of life. They just talking about buy myself food.
Right.
And you can still be practicing the same way of life that you practicing to contract AIDS. He ain't stopping you from doing that.
No.
He just wants you to buy the little cell food stuff he got. But the messenger wants you to stop practicing filth and indecency.
That's right.
That's the difference between the messenger and all these other people.
That's right.
So it says, what the restaurant does, prepare is delicious and low price too. A leg and thigh of chicken served with coleslaw and 2 slices of wheat bread costs 89 cents. Ooh. A leg and a thigh. Then it says, we're not trying to make a big profit. We're trying to serve the people, King says. He added the restaurant is also popular with students from nearby Fisk University who come here because they want to eat better, especially in regard to our burgers, which are pure meat, the best meat. So this is showing you that even the college students used to come to eat, the young people, because the messenger was spreading the word. So they coming into the restaurant eating, they get a paper, they can hear about the messenger and learn some more teachings, because how to eat to live ain't it. Come on down to the temple.
That's right.
That's what the messenger. It wasn't just about him getting rich.
That's right.
Or just him about being some big leader, because he at home chilling. He wasn't all out in the people trying to be seen. He was at home.
That's right.
That's where he spent most of his time, was at home. He wasn't out in the public like how Sabi them is trying to be known, all on the radio show, talking about your sell food. The messenger was at home, letting other people run it. You go set up the big... He said once in an interview, Louis Lomax asked him about the farms. He said, some of this stuff I never saw. And I was like, dang, he never saw it? I never thought about that. He said, I just tell them to do what I asked them, and I know if they listen to me, they'll be successful. That's what he said. Praise to Allah. Said half of this stuff I ain't never saw. And you would think he would be there, because I never thought about that. Like, wow, he don't even go to some of this stuff. He just tell them what to do, and they just do it.
Right.
I remember listening to him talk, Brother Cornelius. This was another thing. He was saying that every time before he would buy land, he would call the messenger. So he said that, I believe it was in Texas or somewhere. He was saying he thought, because Cornelius was a farmer.
He was.
He wasn't like he was just some brother calling the messenger like I seen some land.
Right.
He was actually a farmer. That was his trade. That's what he did. He was a farmer.
That's right.
So he saw some land that he thought some good land. So he telling the messenger he gonna give us a good deal. I think we should get it. So the messenger said, okay, but before you buy it, he said, tell him to let you fly over it in a helicopter. So he said, okay. So he flew over it in a helicopter and said he seen all kind of bad land, swamps, big puddles of water in the land. And he like, wow. He the farmer. The messenger ain't no farmer.
Right.
But he telling the farmer what to do and how to be successful. And he ain't even there. This brother there looking at it. And the messenger at home telling them like, okay, well just tell him to let you fly over. That's the messenger.
Right.
Getting us out of the grave.
That's right.
That's the messenger.
That's right.
So it goes on to say, navy beans are a mainstay of the Muslim diet, King says. There is hardly a meal but what we don't have beans. Sometimes we must have beans with bread and milk. That's all you really need. That's the message. Then you got another article talking about another restaurant. And this comes from, I forgot to put the actual newspaper, but it was from Baltimore, May 23rd, 1969. And this says, no pork products. We starting in the middle. It says, words on menu greet customers, Assalamu alaikum, peace be unto you. No pork products are served and all of the restaurant's food is kosher. although the establishment property is not Jewish. It is in fact the lost found nation of Islam whose followers are more widely known as black Muslims. The nation now owns 3 eating establishments in this city. The Baltimore Street Restaurant, a corner stool carryout shop, is in 1600 block of Pennsylvania Avenue, and another carryout in the 3100 block West North Avenue. All 3 are named Shabazz, an Arabic word frequently used by Muslims. It means a tribe of people, explained Clyde Rockma, minister of Mosque number 6 at 51 Wilson Street. Now this is another thing that black people learning while they coming to get something to eat. They learning the greetings.
Right.
They learning about Shabazz.
Right.
It's the messenger.
That's right.
Slowly easing it in on them.
That's right.
While you coming, oh Shabazz. They serve good food at Shabazz. On the menu it say Assalamu alaikum.
Right.
So you teach him a knowledge of self, but you feed him through his stomach.
That's right.
That's the messenger.
That's right.
Then it says, another section of the article says, clean and careful. It says, in the small kitchen of Baltimore Street establishment, the floors are swept. There is no dirt of any kind to be seen. Food is carefully handled. The whole area has an air of quality and efficiency. No alcoholic beverages of any kind are served. Indeed, Muslims are forbidden to touch alcohol, nor can they connect with any alcoholic related business such as liquor stores. He says, we don't sell anything or allow Muslims to sell anything that we teach against, Mr. Rahman asserted. That is one difference between the Muslims and Jew. The Jew will not eat non-kosher products himself, such as pork, but he will sell them to others.
That's right.
Messenger.
Right.
Yes.
So you got to think, when the messenger started first serving health food in the black community, he was taking a risk. Black people wasn't eating that. No kosher meats. So he taking a chance, but he still would not let you serve nothing that Muslims don't eat.
That's right.
Put it in there and get it to him. That's what he all praise due to Allah.
That's right.
But Jews,
Yes.
Jews will come to the black community, know black people don't eat kosher meat, sell them hard. Sell them alcohol, sell them cigarettes. Even these Arabs, these Muslims,
Right.
will sell you stuff that they know is divinely prohibited.
That's right.
But they'll just put gloves on. I remember the first time I was working at FedEx. And I saw, because I was delivering in the back of the store, they still had their prayer rugs in them liquor stores. Prayer rug. You still saying your prayer while you selling brothers cigarettes and hog.
Right.
That's the Arabs. And these other Jews and all these people, but the messenger. You could not sell to no black person what Muslims wouldn't eat.
Yeah.
That's the messenger.
That's right.
He the only one raising us up out the grave. The messenger.
That's right.
Well, brothers and sisters, we don't want to prolong the time. So I leave you as I came in the nation of Islam's greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. That's the bucket. All right, brothers and sisters, we rise for prayer. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the beneficent, the merciful. So, Master's Day of Judgment in which we now live, the alone do we serve, and the alone beseech for thine help and aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path, path of those upon whom thou hast spelled thy favors, not on the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray after they heard thy teachings. Say here Allah is one God. Allah is he of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten, there is none like him. And I bear witness that none deserve to be served, worship, or praise besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is our true servant and last apostle. Ameen. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us not to do anything to anyone that we wouldn't have done it to ourselves, and treat everybody right, even the devil. Assalamu alaikum.
Visit us in person every Sunday from 2 to 3 p.m. at Muhammad Temple of Islam, 12609 East McNichols Road in Detroit. For more information, 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie is the grand champion of all bean pies. The rich flavor and smooth texture takes this pie to a whole new level of delicious. One bite and you'll understand why people all over the country call daily to order Kareem Bean Pie. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie.
This bean pie is delicious.